my first experience with otherworldly things probably was at the age of 5. I had my parents had left me alone in the apartment in the Soviet Union. That was okay. Nobody would call child services. And I was playing with my mother's manicure scissors, and I was acting like they were a sword. And I swung them around and stabbed myself in the leg. And I heard a voice. It said, "Don't panic." And I really didn't panic. I just pulled them out, and there was no blood. And really what I was afraid of is not the fact that I stabbed myself, that I would bleed to death. I was more afraid that my father was going to come home and give it to me. So they were directly across the street in the theater. And that was really my first experience. I understood that something wasn't watching, it was participating. And from that point on, I think a lot of very interesting things started to happen to me. But I never gave it any thought, because I just thought everyone experienced it. I knew I was somewhat different because I looked, even as a little one, I looked intense. My mother used to say that when I played in front of the building in Odessa, that people would stop and look in my eyes, because I really looked at you even at 5 or 6 years old. But then the most significant thing that happened to me was at 12 or 14. I was in military academy, and I was sleeping, and a young man, it was 7 o'clock in the morning, a young man came to wake me up. And before he touched my shoulder to wake me up, he was actually coming to tell me to go to the academic building, that my grandfather had died. And before he could touch my shoulder, I turned around and I said, I know. And I went to the building, and my mother's father had died. And I started to speak to him from the other side. And my mom, when I told her, she said, "Okay, honey, would you like to see someone?" I said, "No, it's just, they couldn't believe that something was, that something like that can actually be. The Soviet Union, you're raised with religion is poison, and there's no God, and communism, and all that. So we knew we were Jews, we just didn't know what that meant, so. But then I think it kind of started to progress. And at 16, I was in an accident. I was in a car accident. I was driving down the Belt Parkway in Brooklyn, and I hydroplaned. And instead of hitting the brand new Cadillac on my right, I went to turn the wheel, and I saw my grandfather's face, and he said, "Turn your head." I turned my head, and I crashed into the divider. The car was completely totaled. I had to crawl out of the window, and nothing happened to me. I was fine. And just these kind of nuances where I would see something and know that it's going to happen. And then I started to realize, it's not as if I'm predicting it happening. It's almost as if I say, and then it becomes so. And so I started to slowly understand that it's not happening to me, it's happening as a result of me. And that's, I would say, probably, there are many stories. I'm not going to sit here and it would take me hours, but that's how realized medicine formed itself, as a result of these many nuances of life, where I had an opportunity to see how I affected reality as a result of my belief system.